everybody, and a very warm welcome to Hockenheim for this, the fifth race of the 2019 Euroformula Open season, and indeed the first ever visit of the Euroformula Open to the Hockenheim circuit. And this is at the end of what's been a very, very busy period for the Euroformula Open drivers, because we were in Po last weekend racing on the streets, and then in Paul Ricard just before that. But it's the 4.5 kilometre challenge of the home of the German Grand Prix that awaits the drivers this weekend. 19 laps or 35 minutes, the race distance. And we are in for what promises to be another very, very entertaining race. You join myself, Ben Evans, on a somewhat overcast afternoon. There were bits of drizzle a few minutes ago, but it seems to have dried out a little bit, but it is warm and cloudy here in Hockenheim. Certainly, though, it was hot in terms of pace in qualifying this morning, with Marino Sato, who comes into the weekend second in the championship standings, claiming pole position. Sato, who was victorious in the second race of the year in Paul Ricard, pipping Jack Doohan. Doohan, leading the charge for the RR Racing team, will share the front row of the grid with the Japanese driver, with then it would have been Liam Lawson up on the second row alongside his Team Motorsport teammate Yuki Tsunoda, but Lawson picking up a three-place grid penalty after his collision with Julian Hanses in Po last weekend, slips down to 6th, which means that once more we have a Team Motorpark and RR row 2, Yuki Tsunoda alongside Linus Lundqvist. So 4 races into the season, it's this man, Liam Lawson, who leads the championship. He has scored 2 race victories, 1 apiece in Paul Ricard and Po. However, his championship charge stymied a little bit 6 days ago in Po with that collision with Julian Hanses that put them both out of the race, and it was a first non-score of the season for Liam Lawson. So he comes into the weekend 6 points clear of Marino Sato in the championship. Third in the standings is Lucas Dunner for Teo Martin Motorsport, but Dunner, having a difficult qualifying this morning, will only line up in 9th place this afternoon, and there indeed is the Austrian driver. 2 third places and 2 fourth places so far this season for Dunner, but quite a lot of ground for him to make up. Billy Munger is the third of our drivers to have claimed a race victory this season, or the race to have won the Grand Prix of Po in very tricky conditions last Sunday. It was Munger and the Carlin team who made the right call with tyres. It was a bold gamble, but it paid off very, very handsomely for him, and that was enough to propel Billy up to 6th in the championship standings. But he will start 15th today, and therefore a fair amount of ground to gain. Here indeed is Marino Sato, and he was pleasantly surprised after qualifying to be on pole position. He and Team Motorpark in free practice yesterday were a little bit lost in terms of what setup to put on the car, because this Hockenheim circuit, with its mixture of very long, fast straights, but also some quite tight technical sections, getting the aerodynamic balance of the car right is quite tricky. Julian Hanses, another of the Team Motorpark entries, lining up in 5th place, just ahead of teammate Liam Lawson. As he rolls into position, Billy Munger continuing his sighting lap. All the drivers, of course, running the Lara F312 chassis. They also all have the Control Michelin tyre, but then the variety of engine choice being opened up for this season, that has really led to a diversity of competition throughout the field. And this weekend it's the HWA and Spiess engines which are doing battle right at the front of the field. So Munger peels into position, and the rest of the grid forming up. Well, in free practice yesterday, it was the RR Racing team who were going very, very strongly. Both Jack Doohan and Linus Lundqvist well represented up the grid, as Nikolai Kierkegaard peels in to his 13th place mark. So a chance just to check the tyre temperatures, maybe make any last-minute adjustments, as just checking the front wing settings there for Marino Sato. Sato, though, relaxed in the cockpit, just focused on the job ahead. Second on the grid then for Jack Doohan, and Doohan had a frustrating time in Po, out of the points in both races, but really poised for a good result this afternoon. Third on the grid for Yuki Tsunoda, and Tsunoda coming into the weekend fourth in the championship. He has had 2 podium finishes to his name this season, a second and a third place. Linus Lundqvist then fifth in the championship standings. Not yet been on the rostrum this season, but except for a retirement last bout, very consistent in terms of the points that he has been picking up. Fifth on the grid then to Julian Hanses, seventh in the championship standings. He scored his first rostrum of the season in race 1 in Po. And there's a chance to shine his home round. And then Liam Lawson, sixth on the grid, of course, that 3-place grid penalty sustained from the incident in Po. Seventh on the grid for Christian Hahn. And Hahn, he's 11th in the standings. That somewhat belies the pace that the Brazilian driver has been showing all season, and once more, the foremost of the qualifiers for the Carlin team. And he will share the 4th row of the grid with the first of the Teo Martin Motorsport runners, and that is Aldo Festante. And Festante was on feisty form in qualifying this morning. The Teo Martin Motorsport squad seemingly running a slightly different strategy to the way they approach the session compared to some of their rivals, which will make for interesting viewing as the race unfolds. So let's have a look back at what happened in Po just last weekend, and it was Liam Lawson who led away at the start of race 1. As behind there were plenty of action on the way. Christian Hahn departing from proceedings. Unfortunately, it was the same for teammate Kierkegaard, thumping into the tyre wall. So in the end, it was a fairly dominant victory for Liam Lawson. Second win of the season for the New Zealander. On to race 2, and this was where it all got very tricky. Slippery conditions. This the coming together between Lawson and Hanses that has earned Lawson the penalty, but the star of the race was Billy Munger. Carlin team and Munger making the right call with tyres early on. It allowed Munger to carve his way up through the field. It's behind, there was all sorts of drama. It was Lundqvist just overcooking it into the tyres, and that caused a Teo Martin Motorsport traffic jam. So an emotional and historic victory for Billy Munger. That was 6 days ago. What will this weekend bring us? The grid now beginning to be cleared, and then the drivers will just have the sighting lap to prepare themselves. See how the track conditions have changed, if at all, really. So we're just a couple of moments away from the 5th race of the Euroformula Open season, and this is how they line up. Marino Sato and Jack Doohan on row 1. The second row of the grid, Yuki Tsunoda and Linus Lundqvist. Row 3 of the grid is all Team Motorpark Julian Hanses and Liam Lawson, ahead of Christian Hahn and Aldo Festante. Row 5 of the grid, Lucas Dunner and Cameron Das. They'll both look to press through the field, as will Tepe Nattori and Callan Williams from row 6. Onto row 7, Kierkegaard ahead of Guilherme Samaya, and then Billy Munger and Rui Andrade completing the field in row 8. So the last couple of mechanics moving clear of the grid. Marino Sato just focused on the countdown clock, the 15-second board shown to the drivers, and then they will be waved away on their green flag lap. I'm joined, as ever, by Elliot Wood, and Elliot, a very interesting qualifying session this morning, which in the end turned into a little bit of a duel between RR Racing and Team Motorpark.
Yeah, there was a lot of strategic variety on that grid during that qualifying session. It was a very odd one, very different to what we'd seen in free practice. I had a chat with the pole man after he took pole, Marino Sato, and he actually said that it wasn't an intentional strategy. He just wanted to get a clean lap in as quickly and as early as possible in case there were any yellow or red flags. So all the predictions we made in qualifying, and it was just Marino timing it right.
Well, fair enough, and it's done the job for him. Now, one of the interesting things about this Hockenheim circuit, which we alluded to earlier, is the variety of setups the teams can deploy. Because we've got long straights, heavy braking zones. It means we can expect to see a lot of slipstreaming, potentially some overtaking, but also different strategies how the teams want to manage the race.
Yeah, and we know there's a trade-off between running more or less wing and what it does to your tyre life. And tyres are a really important part of single-seater racing. You do put a lot through them and a lot of stress on them. So it's very interesting to see which cars are going to be quick at the beginning of the race and maybe which have run a different level of wing and might have more pace near the end.
So they are currently turning through the very tight hairpin at turn 6 before heading down the first half of the back straight into turns 7, 8, 9 and 10, which is underneath the gaze of the Mercedes tribune, and they rejoin the back straight before heading on towards the stadium section. So the driver's just trying to get a little bit of warmth into each tyre. The good news is that even since we started the programme, the cloud cover's just cleared a little bit, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get through the 19 laps without anything in the way of precipitation as the field rejoin now the stadium section of the circuit, about the only part of the track that wasn't remodelled 15 or so years ago. So they swing through turn 11 and into the cambered hairpin at the Sachs curve. Rui Andrade towards the tail of the field. At the front of the field, it is Marino Sato and Jack Doohan. Now, Doohan, you can differentiate from Sato. They are in different teams, but Doohan has got Pramac written in large white writing on his rear wing and side pods. And then on row 2, the Red Bull liveried car is Yuki Tsunoda, and the one that looks not unlike a British police car is Linus Lundqvist in terms of the fluorescent yellow and blue markings on it. I should also say it is the colours of the Swedish flag, which is probably the look he was going for, as Marino Sato rolls down the grid towards his pole mark. He doesn't want to wait too long here. The rest of the field to form up. So Sato rolls to a halt. Alongside him in the front row of the grid is Jack Doohan. Then row 2, Yuki Tsunoda and Linus Lundqvist. Row 3, Julian Hanses and the second of the Red Bull livery cars, championship leader Liam Lawson. There's nothing more that the teams can do in the pit box now, as Billy Munger brings his car to a halt as well, looking for the marshal at the rear of the field. He waves the flag, so it's eyes to the gantry time as the revs begin to rise in Hockenheim. The lights are on. They're out, and we go racing for the 5th time this year. It's a brilliant start from Lundqvist. It's a terrible start from Yuki Tsunoda as Marino Sato leads into turn 1, ahead of Doohan and Lundqvist as the rest of them swoop through. One of the Red Bull cars goes flying out wide, as does Billy Munger, who's made a superb getaway too and has gained several places as Doohan defends from Lundqvist into turn 2. And then they accelerate on to the back straight for the first time, and it's Liam Lawson who's well away. He's up into 5th position. So the field streak towards the hairpin. Billy Munger goes side by side with teammate Tepe Notori. They're busy fighting over 10th and 11th position. On the brakes into the hairpin at turn 6, and Lundqvist may go around Jack Doohan here for second. Lundqvist looks for the switch back, a couple of other angles of attack. Billy Munger just slithering out wide as it's Sato from Doohan and then Lundqvist.
Lots of cars went very wide then. I think Billy Munger slipped from 10th down to 15th again. We've got Christian Hahn looking at a move on one of the Red Bull cars that almost made contact. And there's another of the Motorpark cars going around the outside, so that's 2 of the Motorparks side by side for the next few corners.
It's Yuki Tsunoda and Julian Hanses, and it was Liam Lawson who nearly got tagged by Christian Hahn. Here comes Lucas Dunner looking around the outside turn 11, and that's a great move from Dunner if he can pull it off to the inside of Hanses into the Sachs curve, and that's really well executed by the Teo Marti Motorsport driver, but he just runs out a little bit wide. The car over the curb, momentary loss of traction, but he's still got the place on Hanses, then kicks sideways into the first of the double right-handers that finish the lap. So through they come, and it's Sato, 9/10 second clear of Jack Doohan, but look behind, Linus Lundqvist under real pressure now from Liam Lawson, Christian Hahn, Yuki Tsunoda part of that, and Lucas Dunner charging as well with Julian Hanses as they head up towards turn 2. Tsunoda looks to the inside of Hahn, Hanses to the inside of Dunner, and I think he's going to reclaim the position. Indeed he does.
And Hanses is under investigation for a possible jump start as well. But looking at Billy Munger, that he dropped 5 places, he's already regained 1, and we've got another 2 of the Carlin cars squashed in a battle here.
Yes, Tepe Notori challenging Julian Hanses and Lucas Dunner as Linus Lundqvist at the front of your picture under pressure from Liam Lawson. Lawson looks to the outside, Tsunoda to the inside of Christian Hahn. Oh, and Lawson kicked up over the curbs. And that really was Red Bull taking wings as Aldo Fastante slowed through the hairpin and possibly having picked up a little bit of damage. And he is going to be passed by Guilherme Samaya. Meanwhile, Christian Hahn still doing battle with Yuki Tsunoda.
And we saw at the back of the picture there, Tepe Notori going very slowly. He's already dropped several seconds to the back of the field, so there might have been some contact there.
Tepe Notori and Aldo Fastante were running a 1/10 of a second apart as they came through sector 2. And rudimentary detective work suggests that possibly they may have had a slight entanglement, as at the front of the field it is Sato from Doohan. In 3rd place it's Linus Lundqvist, in 4th Liam Lawson, 5th Yuki Tsunoda, 6th Christian Hahn.
And the incident at turn 6 under investigation, so that would be through sector 2 where Fastante and Notori have lost a lot of time.
And the other driver who's struggling a little bit, I think, is Callum Williams, who may have been involved in that as well.
And we've got one of the Teo Martin cars entering the pits now.
That's Aldo Fastante, as Billy Munger is challenging Cameron Das. Callum Williams has sustained some damage somewhere as Munger runs side by side with Das as they swing through turn 4. Oh, he almost squeezed onto the grass there, Billy Munger, as he and Callum Williams run side by side on towards turn 5, the Parabolica, into the heavy braking zone, as at the front of the picture Liam Lawson was to the inside of Linus Lundqvist. We don't know where to look here as Lundqvist looks to fight back alongside Lawson as they head down the back straight. Here we go, and it's Lundqvist who's got the inside line. Lawson, the track position may be very fair from Linus Lundqvist, perhaps too fair because Lawson's able to slip through as they go into turn 8. As behind, Hanses is sideways doing battle with Christian Hahn. Lucas Dunner likewise, Nicholas Kierkegaard. What a brilliant start to the race.
Yeah, we've seen cars 2 wide, 3 wide at multiple corners here already. It's a great result. Looking at the front, there's 0.4 seconds between our top 2, and we'll see the chasing pack behind. We have maybe 6 cars that are in reaching distance of each other.
Yeah, the battle at the front of the field really coming together. Jack Doohan setting the fast lap of the race on lap 2. So he's up with Marino Sato. Liam Lawson now, he is in clear air, is pulling clear of Linus Lundqvist, who's got Yuki Tsunoda filling his mirrors. And Lundqvist runs very, very wide through turn 1 as Sato retaliates with fastest lap. He rebuilds the buffer to 0.8 of a second, and only now on lap 4 do they start to come down a bit.
And one of the fastest people on that last lap was Tepe Notori, who's up to 12th place again. Joe Hermes Smyers in the pits, and Callum Williams looks to have disappeared somewhere. So there's a lot of position changes at the moment.
Callum Williams is limping back to the pits now. We can see him from the commentary box window, and just wonder if he may have picked up puncture of some description. As Linus Lundqvist, at the moment turn 6 is Lundqvist's bête noire somewhat, as bad start of the weekend for the Teo Martin Motorsport team. Already Aldo Fastante out of the race. It's a new nose cone for Guilherme Samaya, as Lundqvist under real pressure now from Yuki Tsunoda. I just wonder if Lundqvist is running a slightly lower downforce or a slightly different setup to the Team Motorpark cars, because he does seem to be struggling a little bit into some of the heavier braking zones, the Swedish driver.
And you see at the back of the picture there, Nicola Kierkegaard and Lucas Dunner going very wide out of turn 11. And the car's coming through the final sector now. There's quite a big gap between the top 3. Lundqvist still under pressure, and it looks like one of them, Julian Hanses, is still on the rear of Christian Hahn at the moment.
That's the battle we can see in our picture at the moment, because they head in towards turn 1 now, and Christian Hahn, his mirrors filled with Julian Hanses. That's going to bring Lucas Dunner into the fight before too long, you would imagine. Callum Williams has continues on his way. Out of the pit lane comes Guilherme Samaya, and right into the heat of the battle. Now, this is interesting. Fastest lap of the race has just gone the way of Liam Lawson. So while the leading trio are covered in total by 2.6 seconds, the quickest of them is the third of them. So that is shaping up nicely as Julian Hanses has got a good run here on Christian Hahn as they head out of turn 5 on towards the hairpin at turn 6. The blue car of Hahn covers the middle of the road. Hanses darts the inside. Has Christian Hahn seen him? Yes, he has. And Julian Hanses slips past, but for how long will that last? As they then squabble their way on towards turn 7. Hahn looks back to the inside of Hanses, then jinks back into the path of Lucas Dunner.
Brave stuff here. Lawson's last lap actually took half a second out of the leaders, and Hans almost went for a move there on Hanses, but he's lost a bit of traction on the exit of the corner, so he's got Lucas Dunner right on his tail. It's going to be very difficult to overtake here.
Down they come, then swinging into the stadium section once more, and it's Dunner who is a little bit closer to Hahn. Is he close enough to challenge into the Sachs curve? He decides not. Now, another look at the start, and it was in the background Yuki Tsunoda who was really slow away, and that allowed him to be swamped by them as they headed towards turn 1. Look at it from this angle. See the first of the Red Bull livery cars. Tsunoda spins up his rears and everyone comes piling past. But in the back of the picture, lightning start to the race from Billy Munger.
And Callum Williams did have a puncture, we believe, and he's come back on track, but he's letting everyone pass because he is a lap down.
So another look at the cavalry charge towards turn 1. Back to the fight at the front of the field, and Linus Lundqvist in 4th has got Yuki Tsunoda closing up onto his tail. Here are the leading trio then, 2.5 seconds, the gap covering them. Liam Lawson, another fastest lap of the race last time round, as he reels in Tsunoda to the inside. Lundqvist, has Tsunoda overcommitted? Yes, he has. He runs out very wide, almost wide enough to high-five the marshals before he rejoins the track. But he doesn't lose out to Julian Hanses because his teammates come 2.5 seconds adrift. The battle, though, is the one between Lucas Dunner and Christian Hahn as they head towards turn 8, a corner where it's easy to misjudge a move in a Formula 3 car, as Lucas de Grassi will tell you when he ended up on top of the tyre wall there in 2005. As another look at that from Tsunoda. Surprised he went for that, really. He wasn't ever quite close enough.
He had set the fastest third sector on the previous lap and his personal best in the first sector. And the cars are coming round to Liam Lawson's visibly closer to the top 2 now. Our camera's picking up the battle between Christian Hahn and Lucas Dunner for 7th as they come through the turn 12-13 complex.
So Christian Hahn is the driver in the blue Carlin car. Lucas Dunner, the predominantly white Teo Martin Motorsport entry. And Dunner just a little bit wider in terms of his approach to the double right-hander. And that, he will hope, will latch him nearer to Christian Hahn. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda's got to do all of his hard work all over again as he tries to get back onto terms with Linus Lundqvist. At the front of the field, it is Marino Sato who leads the way. Jack Doohan in 2nd, Liam Lawson trying to chase him down in 3rd, and then Lundqvist in 4th from Yuki Tsunoda. Here's the battle front of the pack, and Lawson didn't quite set a fast lap of the race last time around, but he was still the quickest of the leading trio.
Yeah, it does look like Marino Sato is pulling away from Jack Doohan very slightly, but Lawson's definitely closed in on Doohan by several tenths every lap over the last few laps. But the 2 Motorpark teammates, so Sato and Lawson, are setting roughly the same times. And we've got a shot of one Red Bull driver chasing one RR driver and another Red Bull driver chasing another RR driver.
And in the background, we saw Lucas Dunner had just slipped inside Christian Hahn as they went through turn 7. We'll confirm that in a couple of moments' time as Liam Lawson edges ever nearer to the tail of Jack Doohan. So this is the Battle of the Antipodes.
And Dunner did indeed get through past Christian Hahn. He's now got Nikolai Shargaard on his tail as well. They'll come through the final few corners, turn 12, turn 13.
As out of the final corner, the race leaders reeling off their 7th lap. So we have got 12 to go. And Doohan, the change of direction into turn 1. This is where the driver fitness really comes to the fore as the lateral G-forces punch their way through the car. And Liam Lawson, you'd say, is only probably a lap or 2 away from making a move on Jack Doohan.
talking of taking a hit for doing, during free practice on Friday, he actually had his camera fall off and roll around inside the cockpit while he was driving. So he had a bruised elbow, and he found some rags to protect it. But he's performed very strongly so far, and he has, although Lawson's been closing in for several laps, he has kept him at bay and probably has a little bit more pace in the tank.
Of course, what we don't know is how the varying setup's going to play through in the second half of the race, as now Yuki Tsunoda's got a good run on Linus Lundqvist as they head towards turn 7, and Lundqvist will try and cover the track position. Tsunoda tries to squeeze it, they almost interlock wheels. Lundqvist, though, is going to try and hold on through turn 8, and he does so. Really good defensive driving there from Linus Lundqvist, and fair play to Yuki Tsunoda. It would have been very easy to have run Lundqvist up over the curbs, and he didn't do it. And it allows Lundqvist to retain that 4th position.
And the team manager of Aldo Festante, who went out of the race after 2 laps, his team manager has been asked to report to race control immediately. So that would be regarding the incident involving Carlin's Tepe Nattori, as our leaders come around the final few corners to complete their 8th lap of the race. And we're going to see the gap up front. Linus Lundqvist looked a little more confident ahead of Yuki Tsunoda now.
Liam Lawson is, as a result, for Christian Hahn. He looks to fight back as they pick their way through turn 2. Appears to be job done.
Yeah, and Lawson did take out another few attempts out of doing there. So, Hahn's, you're looking back at Kjærgaard, he's going around the outside of the long swooping parabolica curve.
He's certainly brave. Now, can he get it hooked up on the brakes? Does Kjærgaard do? Does he let Hahn just overcommit? It's actually very well done by Christian Hahn if he can close the corner off. Kjærgaard tries to get on the power a little bit sooner, but to no avail. And that is a very well executed repass by Christian Hahn. But as they slow themselves down, it is bringing the background. You can see Cameron Dass into the mix as well. As the other car that's there is Guilherme Smart, but he's a lap down, having pitted for a new nose cone.
And we're seeing a replay of Christian Hahn going very wide and jumping over the curbs. And at the front, Liam Lawson's right on Jack Doohan's tail now, coming through the final few corners again. He could force a move at the beginning of the next lap, I believe.
Moves being forced all over the circuit at the moment as we're watching the battle between the two Carlin teammates. This is the fight for 8th place. Then you've got the slightly erroneous car of Guilherme Samar just behind them, and Cameron Dass, who is next along into the fight. Now here, meanwhile, is the battle at the front of the field, and Marino Sato, last time around, just a little bit quicker than the squabble that was going on behind him.
Yeah, we did see Yuki Tsunoda at turn 1 get a little loose. He was very close to Linus Lundqvist and made a slight error. That's given Lundqvist a bit of breathing room going down the parabolica.
Yuki Tsunoda, you can just sense he's getting very frustrated. He clearly feels he's got a quicker car in race trim than Linus Lundqvist. As now Lawson draws alongside Jack Doohan. Doohan, though, forces Lawson to that outside line as they come through the hairpin.
Looks like Doohan locked a brake there as well, keeping Lawson at bay. And it'll be very difficult for Lawson to overtake. He's actually going down the inside. Very brave stuff there from Liam Lawson. They're side by side still going into the next corner. Strange direction. He's completed the move. Jack Doohan, so he'll be wanting to hunt down his teammate now, Marino Sato. That
was a really good move from Liam Lawson. Jack Doohan, possibly he's just hurt his tyre a little bit with that snatch of the brake. And he didn't force Lawson offline into turn 8, which is what ultimately allowed the New Zealander to go through, as Christian Hahn and Kjærgaard continue their fight as they run on towards turn 11 now. And Hahn and Kjærgaard, this is no holds barred stuff between the Carlin teammates, and also they've now got Cameron Dass closing right up behind them as well. Here is potentially going to be a look at some of the adventures, as it's still Hahn in that 8th position, Kjærgaard in 9th, Dass in 10th. They are fighting over the remaining podium places. And in the background, 11th position is Billy Munger. He's got Tepe Nattori closing up on him.
Yeah, Billy Munger's had quite an anonymous middle section of the race here. He rose up to 10th on the first lap, then dropped back down to 15th, and he's only climbed back up to 11th since, and dropped to the three-car battle for 8th place taking place at the moment, which we're watching now between Christian Hahn, Nikolai Kjærgaard and Cameron Dass.
So here's another look then at the move from Liam Lawson on Jack Doohan to the inside turn 7, and Christian Hahn taking flight, and actually his team manager's just been summoned to race control with immediate effect. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda is up and ahead of Linus Lundqvist. We didn't quite see how that happened, but he's passed him, and as they head in towards turn 8, Lundqvist not quite close enough to fight back. And what is really interesting for me here, Elliot, is that the motor park cars again over the race distance, just having the edge on Double R.
Yeah, and it looks like the similar points of the race that the two Double R cars are starting to lose a bit of pace. I'm seeing a replay of Billy Munger getting very jumpy over the curbs there, and he's got, looks like Callum Williams right behind him, a lapped car though, so he won't try and force a move. And leaders coming through final corners again, completing lap 11, so we're into the second half of this race now. There's 2.3 seconds between our top two, so Lawson's only closed in by half a tenth there, but he's already pulled out 2 seconds to Jack Doohan in third place.
So if things stay as they are, then Marino Sato, I think, will be leading the championship by just 1 point at the checkered flag. We have still got, though, just under half race distance to go, as the Taylor Lundqvist car just twitches a little bit as he gets the power down, and he has now got Julian Hanses beginning to ride up on towards his tail. Here's the leading trio, and Jack Doohan, having been passed by Liam Lawson, doesn't seem to have much of an answer for him. And in fact, the question is maybe whether or not Yuki Tsunoda, it's a big ask, it's 4 seconds, could reel in Jack Doohan between now and the checkered flag.
We haven't seen the weather change this race, but there was a very dark cloud lurking at the final corner, which may add a little bit of action here. I do think Doohan has the pace to stick to this position, but it's once a car does get close, can you defend that position with slightly worn tyres and not the pace of the rival behind?
And also, it's just trying not to get frustrated when you can see the car you were battling with romping off into the distance, and immediately Lawson's pulled out 2.2 seconds over Jack Doohan. Liam Lawson, though, whether or not he can reel in Marino Sato and then actually make a move on Sato is another question altogether, as out of the final corner then. And the gap from Sato to Lawson is down to 1.9 seconds. Liam Lawson setting the fastest lap of the race. And in the event, he was 4 tenths quicker than Marino Sato. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda in clear air has just set his fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 33.6. And that was 6 tenths of a second quicker than Jack Doohan. If he can keep that schedule up, it gets interesting.
I believe that would be the second fastest lap of the race behind the fastest lap that Lawson's just set. So the most part cars are looking very quick, including Julian Hanses, who's closing on Linus Lundqvist for fifth place quite rapidly.
So the two championship leaders fighting each other. Lucas Dunner, who was third in the standings coming into this afternoon, currently in 7th, and 3.6 seconds adrift to Julian Hanses. So we're at that stage of the race where you kind of know that some of these battles are possibly going to chop and change between now and the flag.
They could do, yes. The tyres are getting very warm, but we did see at Paul Ricard, very similar situation. Marino Sato with Liam Lawson, who I believe, did he have a penalty? Penalty applied post-race, but he was closing in on Sato, and Sato held a very strong defensive drive to claim his first win. So could be a repeat result for the Motorpark team.
But Lawson looking pretty relentless at the moment, and he is our commentary box, by the way, overlooks the final section of the lap, and Lawson is appreciably nearer to Marino Sato than he was a lap ago. So let's see how that's come down. Another 0.2 seconds despite Marino Sato setting his personal best lap of the race, and the gap is down to 1.7 seconds. Now the challenge here for Liam Lawson, with 6 to go, is getting to within about a second of Marino Sato. He can kind of do off his own merits. It's when he gets nearer than that, he gets into the turbulent air, that it becomes a little bit trickier.
Yeah, we did see through the final sector, the front end Lawson's car did get quite loose going through the fast turn 12 and turn 13 when he was behind his teammate Sato. So that's an example of that. But looking at back further down the order, Billy Munger's dropped a huge amount of time, and he's under pressure from Carlin teammate Tepe Notori now for 11th place. So we haven't seen what happened on track there, but he lost quite a few seconds.
I think he's been reeled in a little bit over the last couple of laps, but it's now just 4 tenths of a second between the pair of them, and that is one to watch as Marino Sato sets the fastest first section of anybody of the race. As here is Linus Lundqvist snatching a break, more than snatching a break, grabbing it and smoking it up, as the Christian Hart and the Kjærgaard and Cameron Dass battle continues. And now it's the turn of the American Cameron Dass to look one way, not quite the time to look to the other. to make his way past Kiergaard, as this is the battle for 9th and 10th position. And there are still fights all the way through the field, which are beginning to come together as Marino Sato sets the fast lap of the race, 1 minute 33.2. So he just ups his momentum a little bit just to persuade Liam Lawson that it is a futile effort trying to chase him down.
Once again, Lawson's car did look very loose through the final sector.
The battle, though, that is going to be worth watching with 5 to go is Yuki Tsunoda was half a second quicker than Jack Doohan on that last lap, and that gap is now down to 3.2 seconds or something. Our timing screen has decided to have a moment of madness, and no, it's not. Liam Lawson has had a big moment through Sector 1 is what has happened. Now, are we going to see that Liam Lawson, a 25-second first sector, and what has happened to Liam Lawson, we wonder? We'll try and pick up the Red Bull car as quickly as we can. We're watching the Christian Hahn, Kiergaard and Das battle, but Jack Doohan is now back into second position. Liam Lawson lost 5 seconds through the first sector, which suggests a rapid pirouette somewhere, or something more serious. Oh, there it is, through turn 1. Now that is a quick old space. Place to be having a spin for Liam Lawson, and computer game style, he's on the anchors, he gets it hooked up again. So that is what happened to Liam Lawson.
And you can't imagine him having much life left in his tyres there, because he had them locked for the full spin.
They will feel pretty sorry for themselves. So the battle between Doohan, Lawson and Tsunoda is now only covered by a couple of seconds as they head past our commentary box. Still, Cameron Das and Nicola Kiergaard continue to fight with each other. And Das in 10th place. We just had a glimpse at Fortec team manager Mick Kouros in the Fortec pit box as Linus Lundqvist, head of Julian Hanses, who is weaving around there. It's unusual. Maybe he's just picked up some debris and he's trying, or thinks he has, and he's trying to shake it loose.
Potentially. Lundqvist, not sure why this incident, but Lundqvist and Aldo Festante's been involved in an incident that's going to be investigated after the race. Festante left this race after the second lap, so this may have been a delayed call.
So here is the race leader with 3.5 laps to go. Marino Sato, he has led ever since the lights went out. In second position now, it is Jack Doohan. In third, it is Liam Lawson. Fourth is Yuki Tsunoda. Fifth is Linus Lundqvist. Sixth, Julian Hanses. Seventh is Lucas Dunner. Eighth, Christian Hahn. Ninth, Nikolai Kiergaard. And in 10th place, it is Cameron Das. And for Marino Sato, is this going to be a second victory of the season? That spin from Liam Lawson would give the Japanese driver a small buffer at the top of the standings as Das looks to challenge the outside. Kiergaard now, can the Fortec driver, that's the white car, look to propel himself past the Carlin machine as they head on towards turn 11. Not sure he's quite close enough on this occasion.
They are getting very close. Doohan did pull out a slight advantage over Lawson on the previous lap, setting personal best, but Lawson's already closed back in. He's 3 tenths faster than Doohan as they cross the line, so that gap's down to 0.788 seconds between the two now, and there's only 3 laps to go. So Lawson could reclaim the position.
He could. They are also fighting over the top rookie in the race as a look at Lucas Dunner. Hard at work over the curbs, slipping and sliding in 7th position.
And something I think we missed was Tepe Natori did get past Billy Munger for 11th place, 2 Carlin teammates. That is a fight outside of the points, though.
So here is the battle for second position once more between Jack Doohan and Liam Lawson. It is the fight to be the top rookie in the race as well. Here is the move, in fact, from Tepe Natori around the outside of Billy Munger at turn 8. Munger tried to cover the inside line, but to no avail. Natori just kept the power in and was able to accelerate on past. So,
and there's been a correction to on our time, or he dropped down the order.
So that will, I'm sure if anything comes of it, we will find out in terms of setting the grid for tomorrow. For now, with the penultimate lap of the race about to start, Marino Sato, barring disaster, looking pretty well set for win number 2 of the season. In the battle for second position, it really comes down to a question of whether or not Liam Lawson has somehow miraculously not trashed his tyres after that gigantic spin and then jumping on the brakes over at turn 1.
Yeah, Doohan's responded to Lawson every time he's got closer. He did set his personal best second sector on the last lap, but that was the same time as Lawson's set. So they're evenly matched, but a second apart now. So Doohan should be comfortable for at least one more lap.
And for Liam Lawson, this is all part of the learning journey, but this is the second time in 2 races he's had a bit of a moment, as we have got accelerating into turn 7, Marino Sato, just a lap and a half to run for Sato. Fastest lap of the race, also to Marino Sato at the moment. And so he is looking as if he may well complete the gentleman's set of pole position, fastest lap, and the race victory. In second place, Jack Doohan, for now, would appear to have just about fended off the challenge of Liam Lawson. It's through the Sachs curve for Marino Sato. He just spins up the tail of the car a little bit, clearly enjoying himself as he heads into the last turn. The final lap of the race awaits.
As it stands, Sato will have a 6-point lead in the standings over Liam Lawson, who's currently in 3rd place. And Lawson was leading coming into this, and we're seeing the gap between Doohan and Lawson for 2nd place now. It's gone down a little bit, 0.966, so it's back under a second. But Lawson was only 0.004 seconds faster than Doohan. And we got a battle further down the order. Christian Hahn, who had pulled away quite a bit from the battles behind, is now under pressure from Nikolai Kjærgaard and the Fortec car of Cameron Dass again.
Well, nothing else. I think Christian Hahn thoroughly enjoyed himself this afternoon, because we have thoroughly enjoyed watching him. He has been in the thick of the action throughout the course of the race, and he has now got one more lap to try and hold on to this 8th position. It'd be his 3rd points finish of the year, but he has got teammate Kjærgaard just behind him. Meanwhile, Marino Sato is not quite within sight of the finish line, but he's not far away from it. 5.6 seconds, his advantage over Jack Doohan currently. And Marino Sato looking for his 2nd victory of the season as he winds into the Sachs curve right hand. His 2nd victory of the Euroformula Open season. So the win for Marino Sato and Team Motorpark. Runner-up, Jack Doohan and Double R Racing, and Doohan takes the rookie crown win as well, with 3rd place going to Liam Lawson, and then Yuki Tsunoda in 4th, completing the rookie podium. Linus Lundqvist across the line in 5th, ahead of Julian Hanses in 6th, Lucas Dunner into 7th. Now, who is going to finish in 8th position? It is Christian Hahn, who takes 8th from Nikolai Kjærgaard and Cameron Dass, who rounds out the points finishers.
Yes, so we have a new championship leader now, Marino Sato, who has 6 points ahead of Lawson, and Lucas Dunn is still 3rd in the standings. He had a slightly disappointing race there in 7th place, but there was lots of action happening in the midfield, and he was involved in a lot of it.
Certainly was. Marino Sato, though, he has done what he needed to do, converted that pole position into the race victory, took fastest lap along the way, and that enough to move him up to the top of the Euroformula Open standings. So he takes his time, heading back to the pits, just collects a few marbles for his tyres. So let's have a look then at the final classification. The win from Marino Sato, runner-up but top rookie Jack Doohan, ahead of Liam Lawson in 3rd, Yuki Tsunoda in 4th, completing the rookie podium behind Doohan and Lawson. Linus Lundqvist in 5th, Julian Hanses into 6th, ahead of Lucas Dunner in 7th, Christian Hahn in 8th, Nikolai Kjærgaard in 9th, and Cameron Dass completing the top 10. Tepe Notori finishing 11th, with Billy Munger in 12th, and Munger having a very busy race. Ray Andrade in 13th, Guilherme Samar and Callum Williams both finishing a lap down, and unfortunately we lost Aldo Festante early on. So in terms of the championship then, it is a 6-point championship lead to Marino Sato, with Lawson in 2nd, Lucas Dunner in 3rd, and a little bit of a buffer still over Yuki Tsunoda and Linus Lundqvist. Julian Hanses climbing up in 6th, and Billy Munger slipping down to 7th in the standings. And Marino Sato certainly taking his time in celebrating this one. A long lap for the Japanese back to Parc Fermé. Here's a look at the moment once more as he came out the final turn across to the pit wall to salute the Team Motorpark mechanics, celebrating the win. And he pulled that off in very fine fashion indeed. It was a great performance from Jack Doohan. His best result of the season by quite some margin. And on to the podium for the first time as well in the Euroformula Open for R Racing. Marino Sato peels to a halt in Parc Fermé. And that was, although he led from lights to flag, a tough afternoon's work. He had that phase of the race where Liam Lawson was chasing him down. As he pops the steering wheel, unclips his belts. And ready to celebrate on the nose stand of the car. Very, very happy driver. Second victory of the season for Marino Sato. Team Motorpark offering their congratulations, as does Jack Doohan. And that spin for Liam Lawson through turn one. Although, in any event, if Lawson had finished second, Sato would still be leading the championship. It's given Marino Sato just a little bit of a buffer in the points, but we are still, of course, in the very early stage of the season in terms of how the championship fight is going to unfold. So Marino Sato heads to weigh in, and then before too long, we will be able to hear from our race winner. It's another very enjoyable race in the Euroformula Open, and the opening stages in particular, full of absolutely frantic dicing.
Sato, perfect day today. After the pole this morning, victory this afternoon.
Yeah, it's not bad, definitely. It was a very good day.
And how was the race? You thought it would be like that?
Well, yeah, to be honest, it went everything like we were planning. A good start, get away. The first lap, it was a bit difficult with the track condition, but yeah, we managed to pull the gap away, which is enough for 19 laps.
Now 2 wins so far, and the championship very open.
Oh yeah, it's a very good point. Also from pole 1 point today. It's yeah, looking for one more tomorrow.
All the best. Thank you.
So as the lights went out, it was Marino Sato who shot away from pole position. Within the background, Yuki Tsunoda making a slow getaway, which meant it was Jack Doohan and Linus Lundqvist fighting over second and third as the field charged through turn one. The opening exchanges were always going to be very busy, and there was lots of jostling for position as Lucas Dunner pulled off this superb move around the outside of Julian Hanses, heading towards the Sachs curve. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and Hanses was able to fight back shortly after. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson was busy carving his way through the field as Christian Hahn got stuck into the thick of the action. Linus Lundqvist, after being demoted by Liam Lawson, it wasn't too long before Yuki Tsunoda was on his case as Christian Hahn and Julian Hanses did battle. Yuki Tsunoda and Lundqvist wheel to wheel through turns 7 and 8. On this occasion, the Swedish driver was able to keep Japanese at bay. Meanwhile, Christian Hahn and Nikolai Kiergaard enjoyed an almost endless battle through the last 10 laps of the race. The two cars wheel to wheel for much of that time. Tepin Nattori and Billy Munger also having a good fight just outside the points, and eventually it was Nattori who would prevail over his Carlin teammate. Front of the field, though, Marino Sato led from lights to flag, so he took his second victory of the season and the lead in the championship. Jack Doohan finishing runner-up and top rookie, with Liam Lawson completing the podium. So onto the rostrum in third place for Liam Lawson, runner-up Jack Doohan. And Marino Sato up to the top step of the podium. And Team Motorpark, the winning team.
Und zu Ehren des Siegers Rennen Nummer 1, zu Ehren von Marino Sato gegen die japanische Nationale.
Japanese national anthem in honour of Marino Sato and his second victory of the season in the Euroformula Open. Move on to the presentation of the trophies. Third place to Liam Lawson. Runner-up, Jack Doohan. And race winner, Marino Sato. Big smile from the race winner and for Team Motorpark again, their fourth win of the season too. So as the drivers pose the photos, of course they will be back tomorrow. They've got qualifying and racing tomorrow, so make sure you join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for qualifying, and then the race will get underway just before 1 o'clock Central European time tomorrow. So the drivers electing not to spray the bubbly as we turn our attention to the rookie rostrum now. And in third place, it was Yuki Tsunoda, always looking to recover after the disappointing start. Runner-up, Liam Lawson. And top rookie in the race, Jack Doohan. All three Red Bull-backed drivers. So Team Motorpark teammates, Tsunoda and Lawson, second and third. And for Double R Racing, top rookie, Jack Doohan. To the top step of the podium. So, more trophies. Third place to Tsunoda. Runner-up this time to Liam Lawson. And top rookie, Jack Doohan. Big grin from the rookie winner, runner-up in the race overall. So he thanks the team. So another exciting race in the Euroformula Open here in Hockenheim. We will be back tomorrow for the 6th race of the season. We'll see you then. Until then, goodbye.